this. I'm gonna just play this. But yeah.
About to head home to your family, whether that be your mum and dad or your partner and kids. Wrong.
You ignore your family and you come and subscribe to the Chipickle YouTube channel, as well as leaving a like on this video, and then go checking out the kick as well, and then go check out more of the other videos on this YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's get back into
You
this.
neglect your real priorities and head straight to the real priority, getting absolutely off your face at the pub. The pub, for those unfamiliar, is not just a building. It's a legally sanctioned adult play area invented by a few medieval blokes who realised it was easier to invent alcohol than talk about their problems. Most of these places have been standing since before mental health was even
He isn't wrong. If you look at any UK pub, they're like, don't think I've ever seen one that looks out new. Like they look the same to an extent. There's a certain vibe to them. But yeah.
considered real, held together by damp, resentment, and a lease agreement older than women's rights. Only existing because humans discovered very early on that sitting in a dark room with strangers and fermented liquids somehow fixes everything, whether it be strangers and fermented liquid, or why your mate
Anyways, he's the guy who should be in prison. These two are just happy to be here. And she's chilling. And why is he just in a Superman pose? Like, what's up with him? Why is he thinking it's him? Who are these guys?
everything. Whether it be heartbreak, politics, the weather, or why your mate Dave still hasn't paid you back that tenner from 2017, the pub has the British Empire on its back. Every pub seems to be named something that Henry VIII would call his little todger. The Red Lion, the Crown, the King's Head. They were only named this because the British people back then couldn't read, so asking your mate to come to the pub would be something like, I'll meet you at the pub with the King's Head on it. Quite fitting, considering we're still all illiterate to this day. If we were naming it something fitting today, I think it would be something like the Structural Fire Hazard. A lot more fitting, I think. As you step towards your second home, your body starts to rumble with excitement. And here you are, the heavy wooden door, the beginning of tomorrow morning's explanation to yourself. Or in most cases, your wife giving you a good hiding. Because your brain has to briefly pretend that this is a sensible decision before remembering the legs and liver are on autopilot. The door creaks open because the only thing lubricated here are people's throats with the finest of sparkling hops, and of course, Chantel the slag from 2 doors down. Straight away, you can kind of tell what kind of pub it's gonna be. It's either a proper rough and stinky one, or an attempt at being posh because they've got a fireplace. A rough pub has those sticky hallucinogenic carpets, one working light, and a TV that's permanently stuck on Sky Sports News. It of course being stuck on mute with subtitles like it's an aquarium for middle-aged alcoholics. The chairs don't match, the carpet looks damp even when it's dry, and there at the bar, that one bloke who's banned but still manages to come in every day. But the landlord's known him since school, so it doesn't really count. A posh pub has that exposed brick, chalkboard signs, and drinks that sound foreign. My French bulldog Stella wouldn't be seen dead in one. They've got real ale pumps with names like Badger's Gooch, and blokes insisting it's meant to be warm and flat, just like my wife. The toilets still huff of piss, but now it's considered rustic or vintage. Instead of a fight, you'll overhear an argument about how bad the parking is in Exeter. Either way, the smell is the same old shit, isn't it? Stale lager, cleaning fluid in damp coats. It hits you instantly and lets you know exactly where you're meant to be. I grew up going to pubs pretty much every weekend, and honestly, there's nothing more homely than the smell of a wasted existence. You walk in and clock the regulars. No.
I'm sorry to tell this guy. I do think he might be lying to himself, like, just to a certain extent. But that's okay. You know, he's allowed his own opinion.
What he's called.
So am I.
Their real name.
So he is. Not really, actually. I prefer you guys to listen to me.
Names, of course. It's Big Dave, Little Dave, Baldy, Ginger Tits, or you. One bloke's nickname is based entirely on something that he did in 1998, and he's never lived it down. Oh, how are you, Widow Liquor Wayne? You've got a couple of the homeless lads warming up by the entrance, bags at their feet, having just robbed Tesco for a selection of cheese and meat. Not that fancy stuff, though, just whatever was closest to the door for the easiest escape from the fat security guard. One of them asks you got a fag I can borrow? You don't even even smoke but instinctively check your pockets anyway and wonder how the term borrow can be used in this scenario. You head to the bar, but alas, you've come to the pub skint, just enough to afford maybe 4 pints and make a few mates to secure the other 6. There's an invisible queue system at the bar that only makes sense if you stand there long enough. Don't ask who's next, just wait your turn and keep your mouth shut. So you've secured your first pint, but you lean in, remove any dignity you had left, and ask the lady behind the bar if she's got a spare packet of scampi fries laying about. She's seen the look 1,000 times. She slides them over like a drug deal. It's ready salted walkers. You have the sudden urge to spit at her, but you quickly realise that you now owe her your life. Before you even turn around, you're clocking the seating arrangements. Because pubs don't have tables, they have territories. Certain stools, corners of the room passed down from generations, owned on a beer mat contract by blokes who've been sitting there since before you were born. The beer mats themselves, they're doing bloody triple shifts, soaking up spillage, solving arguments with maths, and holding together families, since the kids are now preoccupied and slightly merry after sucking on them. If you sit in the wrong place, no one's going to say anything, but you will get a few looks like you've just pissed on a grave. You apologise instinctively with a hand gesture and you move. Behind you, a pool tournament is in full swing. No official rules, no winner, just blue chalk and a ferocious love for balls. One lad's taking it way too seriously, chalking his cue after every shot like he's about to get scouted. Same guy seems to think that you have 2 shots on the black. Piss off. Every missed shot is blamed on the slanted tape.
That. Oh my god, that's despicable. You guys can't see what's happened here, I don't think. Can you? How much can you guys see? I'm not sure. We'll see. See that? Right. But yeah.
The lighting, or somebody moved. You've also got the fruit machine screaming in the corner. One bloke's got a system which is just Tekken button mashing like the machine owes him money or something. He wins £2 and celebrates like he's cleared his decade-long bar tab. Next to that, you got a full darts tournament organised by blokes who couldn't pour piss out of a boot. Someone's writing the scores on a cig packet. Someone else insists the board's a bit too high. It hasn't been moved since 1987. Not so much anymore, but in the corner you might have a few pensioners playing dominoes, slamming the tiles down like gunfire, protecting their table like it's NATO territory. I've noticed that pubs have almost become these local community centres. You know, you've got the bingo night, karaoke, quiz nights, Christmas parties, all carefully designed so you can bring the kids and say that your piss up is for the family, when in reality it's just an excuse to get sloshed without any repercussions. Quiz night is won exclusively by cheating. One team is secretly using Bing.com. The landlord sees it, pretends not to, and carries on with his business. And every single one of these nights somehow turns into a lock-in. Doesn't matter if it's bingo or a christening. Someone knows the landlord. The landlord is essentially this divine being. His word is law. He's barred people for life and unbarred them 6 months later after a chat. Someone's cousin's brother's got the keys to the boozer. The doors get locked and the rules dissolve immediately. You've got a group of lads on one table splitting the G, girlfriends at home wishing they'd find theirs. Everyone suddenly becomes some sort of mathematician. Nah mate, that's not even, pulling out the bloody protractors or something. Meanwhile, 3 lads are doing sniffing the toilets, the old free for a one a moment.
Nah, nobody finds it sad. No, nobody thinks it's problematic. Everyone's happy for you, mate. And you should definitely go around telling people about it as well. Yeah, like adds a little bit to your personality.
Acting like they've got a Costa loyalty card with their dealers. At the bar sit the pub philosophers. These men have been here since midday and will still be there at closing. They talk about politics, conspiracies, how lager used to be stronger, and why everything went downhill after 2003. Oh, and they've also solved the housing crisis twice tonight.
What happened in 2003? Honestly, I got no clue. Someone's gonna have to tell me, but I'm not sure. Got no idea.
Alone and still haven't figured out how direct debits work. Someone's building a pyramid out of beer mats, this being considered impressive. Nearby, another group is doing the beer mat flipping game, a game that's only won in stories told by the pub philosophers. The legendary rounds begin, an agreement more dangerous than signing a non-disclosure agreement with Donald Trump. One lad mysteriously disappears every time it's his round. Another lad never buys a round but always seems to have a pint in his hand. Football football's on. Even if it's not on, it's on. Everyone hates the ref. Everyone suddenly knows Premier League tactics despite being...
We need to spin that back.
It's on. Everyone hates the ref. Everyone
Did he
suddenly
just become a
knows
Rocket League character?
Premier League tactics despite being out of breath walking to the bar. Subtle amounts of racism, yet 75% of their team aren't English. Someone cues Oasis, Jamie T, Scouting for Girls, The Kooks, all on the legendary jukebox. No one stops them. He's clearly got a good taste in music. Someone cues Sweet Caroline, and the still sober half of the pub wishes that he was put on a spike outside of Parliament. You've heard too much of The Clash, and now you suddenly need a slash, so you head to the bogs. The smell of the toilet hits you like a memory. Piss, bleach and metal. You're Todger facing the legendary metal trough where streams cross like an R. Kelly laser show. A nation known for its cultural impact. I'm glad to see it's still shining through. You fancy a smoke, so you head outside to the pub garden. Wooden benches soaked in smoke and trauma dumps. Old boys are still grumbling about how the smoking ban ruined pubs. While still at the pub and still smoking, the government said the ban was to stop secondhand smoke inhalation or something, right? Bollocks. It's to help these old wrinkly tossers realise that their legs still function. I think that's what Tony Blair said anyway, right? Someone drops a cigarette and smokes it anyway because their immune system's already generationally washed. You just know the pub's good when they've got that proper pork crunch and the scampi fries, not the soft ones that chew like wet shredded wheat, the crunchy ones that could break teeth. Behind the bar you've got the alcoholic encyclopedia. She knows every bloke in there, their full legal name, their life story, which marriage turned them into an alky, who they're avoiding. To the lads and lasses that work behind bars, you are a saint. I'm so sorry that you have to go through it every day. My love goes out to you. She's also the one who's got that dog who just hangs around in the pub, you know, ancient, asleep, seen divorces, fights, lockdowns, still remains very calm and unfazed. A pub hero and mascot. What are you having then, love? This single decision alone defines you as a person. Carling drinkers are bottom of the barrel scum. Stella drinkers are angry, cuddly bears with a wife named Ball-Ache. Peroni drinkers have just been paid or have received their year's tax rebate. Guinness drinkers want mutual respect for being unique and trendy without saying anything. Estrella drinkers heard it was Spanish and now believe, oh, it's just Spanish Stella, innit, mate? I'll have one of them. The owners of Estrella allowing the use of problematic pronunciation. Everyone judges your decision, so make sure you make the correct one. To make it simple for you, just avoid Carling and don't drink Guinness if you plan to eat anything after it. This is where shots get mentioned. The night is about to officially collapse. Nobody ever needs shots, but they are essential nonetheless. Something fluorescent in a tiny little glass, looking like that nuclear rod that Bart has in his pocket during the Simpsons intro. The hardest lad in your group skips the shots and claims he's happy and content with his Cinzano and lemonade. Not a lot of men can pull off drinking Hollister spray, so you admire his courage. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, most pubs serve food these days. Chips piled dangerously high, a pie hotter than the surface of the sun, a roast on Sunday that looks like it was prepared by Kay's Cooking, a selection of food that...
You guys know Kay's Cooking. We're never watching that. Never happening. Never happening. Never.
Shouldn't be
Fuck
good,
that
but
shit.
absolutely is, purely because you've had 8 lagers and you can't really tell the difference. There's that charity tin that no one trusts, a meat raffle where everyone's horrified to win, a notice board advertising a random band that split up 12 years ago. There's that one bloke, seemingly the most interesting man alive, knows absolutely everyone, he's done everything. Essentially, he's Jay from In-Betweeners with a cluster of hernias. He has stories about footballers, musicians, and somehow claims he's even had a spliff with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. All that, yet he's here every single day. You don't question him, but honestly you wonder how he finds the time. The town nutcase is spotted out of the window walking to the entrance, leather trench coat, shaking profusely. He has his own dedicated seat, left untouched of course. Not even Peppa Pig would jump in that puddle of muck. The bar lady's already poured his drink, watching him through the window as he waddles in. It's one of those guys who, if he doesn't come in, you can't kind of just assume that he's deceased. Every pub's got one. Closing time hits suddenly. Lights on, music off. Everyone boos like they're surprised. Someone asks for one last one, even though last orders have been called every 5 minutes for the last 30 minutes. Has a full-blown argument with the staff and proceeds to apologise heavily the next coming day. The walk home is quiet, a reflective experience, full of promises. I'm not drinking next week. No, I'm going to take a break. I'm sticking to the beer only next time. Speaking all of this out loud because the Colombian powder is still rolling through your system. You lay in bed and do some seriously degenerate doom gooning when you get home, rolling around in bed until about 4 a.m. so you can actually fall asleep, sipping a can of John Smiths you've had in the fridge for 3 months, and bunning ciggies like they're going to eliminate your Colombian curse. You wake up the next day feeling like your soul's been bummed by Purpleaki. Bank account empty, your phone's full of blurry photos, messages you shouldn't have ever sent, and your dealer saying that you undered him by a tenner. And yet somehow, you'll be back at the same pub next week, or maybe even tomorrow for most people. The same seats, the same people, the same amount of lies. Because the pub doesn't change, you just seem to age around it. But everyone's pub experience is different, and I understand that, but that's why we have a comment section below.
Well, and that's the end of the video, guys. He isn't wrong, though. There is a comment section down below to let us know your experiences with British pubs. Do you guys agree with this guy's thoughts on them, or do you guys disagree? Let us know. Let us know. Personally, I think he was pretty accurate, you know, on a grand scale. And let me know how you guys found this video, because we can react to more of this type of stuff, more of the type of videos. You know, we need to see the reception, because at the moment we're going off likes. So, anyways, thank you guys for staying this long. Appreciate your time, and yeah, see you guys next.